Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Got another 2025 rookie scouting report and profile show for you today. Going to be joined by my favorite podcast co-host, Jason DiRienzo. We're going to take a look at Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan. He is wide receiver one for a lot of people out there. Now, we've broken down his all-22 film. We've watched his film versus BYU, UCF, as well as TCU. We did play-by-play film breakdowns. So we're going to tell you what we saw on film. If you want access to these films, consider becoming an NFL Draft Big Board subscriber. Great way to support the channel here. It's $25 a year. It's like buying me a case of beer, super cheap. And you're not only going to get Tet McMillan all 22 film breakdowns, but we just did Caleb Johnson. We've done Dylan Sampson. We've done all sorts of your favorite rookies. So help me get to 15K subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Let's not waste any more time. Enjoy the show. All right, Jason, let's get to our first rookie report for this week, okay? And we're going to talk Tet McMillan, all right? We just watched his all-22 film like we mentioned before, okay? So we watched his BYU game, his TCU game, his UCF game, 6'5" wide receiver, 212-pound true junior. And I think we like what we saw. I mean, on the season, he had 1,300 yards, 8 TDs this year. Receiving grade was, I think, ranked in my trusty notes here, was ranked 6th amongst all of the I think, no, I'm sorry, it was ranked 2nd in all of the wide receivers headed to the 2025 draft, right? So you can see the grades here on the scouting report card that we got, contested catch, 62%. I think that was also number one. Pat Bryant, I believe, from Illinois has had the only one, I believe, that was higher than him, and Luther Burden as well. So I think he was like number 3. But man, I'll tell you what, we watched the film. Those were some, initial stats that we saw. Tell everybody, kind of what you thought, and then I'll follow up with my thoughts on his game.
I mean, the first thing is I really came away impressed with his release package. I mean, it's not extensive, but it's enough based on what his skill set delivers that he can do a 1-2 step release. He's physical. He'll use his hands to swim, swipe as needed to get leverage. He's very manipulative with his eyes. He can move the hips of the defender with his body gestures right off the line of scrimmage as well. So I like that. If he wins off the line, it's the long speed I'm a little bit concerned about. But if he wins off the line, he can get a free release. He knows exactly how to manipulate within zone coverage in order to find those soft spots, almost like a tight end does. Very good with his field vision, knowing where he is on the field in comparison to the defenders and the angles that they could try to, stop him with a tackle or whatnot, and know how to exploit those. Physical at the catch point, we all kind of know that already. But what I really do like is that when he's in his route, he does use his hands to try to fight off. At the top of his route, he can really sink a lot lower than I thought he could, based on a guy who's 6'5" and over 210 pounds. He can sink pretty low to really distribute his weight and explode laterally to create separation. It's that straight line route that I have trouble with. I don't think the long speed is there. So he will have a guy hip to hip with him. But at the same time, you and I both saw that he could just contort his body to the ball, comes back to the ball when the play's breaking down, knows exactly how to be QB friendly and be available. I just think that he's the full package. Above the rim, I have no questions. Catches outside his frame constantly, even when he doesn't have to. It's almost more natural for him to frame his hands to the ball and catch outside of his frame. And I love when he catches the ball, even if he's midair, as he comes down, he's already spinning to try to get yards after the catch. So I think he's the full package. Maybe the athleticism is a bit tapped. I think the long speed is a bit questionable, but man, I think he's going to catch a lot of balls. Those ball skills are phenomenal. His hands, I mean, we've seen a lot of one-handed catches in the red zone. I mean, he is going to be a red zone threat, possession receiver, and probably playing like that at an elite level. So I love everything I saw coming from him. I don't really have a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think he's an overall, obviously, one of the best receivers going to the NFL draft. I mean, I found him to be very fluid, with really good
Hmm.
agility. He's got that length and attacks the football. And when we were watching that film, we were always talking about every time he, those back shoulder throws, those, his ability to go up and adjust and that length, those big hands, he attacks that ball, right? I mean, he
He does.
always like
Yep.
goes back for the ball. And even on those stop routes and curl routes, because he's going to win with physicality, I think more. I mean, he's going to win with route running chops, but I think it's going to be more with physicality than his
Yeah,
snappiness and his movements. I mean, I think he lacks a little bit of suddenness in his movements. We did see
I would agree with that. Yeah.
he snaps out of those breaks, did a lot of inside, slant routes and out routes and stuff. But again, I think he's going to be one of those big possession receivers. He played 70% out wide, 30% in the slot, primarily for his career. So he's going to be one of those big possession receivers. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him play even more in the slot than out on the boundary. I
Mhm.
could see a 50-50 split at the NFL.
I can see
So,
that too.
but I think he's got to work a little bit more on his technique in route running. I think he kind of, we did see him snap out at the top of his stem a lot and stuff like that. But I think that vertical play is if there was one concern that we had about his game, I don't think he's going to be a vertical threat on the boundary. We probably watched out of those all 22 films, probably 3 or 4 plays where he was trying to stack the defender, good acceleration and pop off the line of scrimmage, but had difficulty stacking that receiver and getting any kind of separation. So, he's going to be great at those back shoulder throws or those 50-50 balls where they just need a play and he's going to be, 6 inches taller than the DB that's covering him and he's going to go up and win balls. But yeah, he's a great receiver. I mean, he's going to be one of the top receivers, obviously, in the class. So not much not to like about his game. So, all right, we got something new here. We're going to do a scouting report card. All right. So we're going to go through 5, scouting traits that you and I kind of, look for when we watch these all 22 films. And again, if you're interested in getting access to the all 22 films, check out the website in the notes on this video or reach out to us, via on the website as well, which is available. You can see on the at the end of this video. But so let's talk about his release and route running. I gave him a B grade. We're going to do obviously A through F, like you're in school, right? I gave him a B. I don't see him being an A only because the reason I gave him a B and not an A was because of that lack of stacking ability and him to be able to win vertically.
Yeah, part of me, I give him a B also. I think the release, I would give him an A just based on what I've seen. The route running itself, I would give him a B. I think he's got a lot to improve as far as manipulation at the top of his route. I liked what I saw, but I also have to question myself, how's he going to do against NFL competition? And it might be a little rough at the beginning.
Right. So ball skills and hands, I gave him an egg. I mean, if there is a feather in his cap, his calling card, it's going to be that 6'5" frame,
Mhm.
that length, those big hands, long arms. I mean, he's going to win the majority of those 50-50 balls.
Yeah, I gave him an A too. I mean, this one's pretty easy.
Acceleration and speed, I agree with what you just said. His acceleration off the line, his pop off the line is good. His acceleration, I think within the first 10 yards of creating separation is pretty good. I think it's like after that where he's going to struggle a little bit once the DB kind of recovers of any, initial kind of
Mhm.
getting him off platform. But I still give him a B. I mean, I think, he's going to win, I think, in the first 20 to 35 yards majority of the time out there playing wide receiver. So, but in that framework of yardage, I mean, I think he's going to win a lot of balls because I loved his defensive manipulation too. So I think that acceleration off the line is going to help him out.
I give him a B also. I think those long strides with that length in his frame are gonna help him, just a little bit considering I don't think the speed is, anywhere near elite, but I think he could do a lot of damage with those long strides and the length with his frame.
Yeah. So yards after the catch, an important trait that we want. Not only do we want our wide receivers catching the ball and just kind of falling to the ground, we want to see them go up the field. And I agree 100% with you. I gave him a B. I love the way as soon as his feet hit the ground after jumping up for a ball, he's immediately turning up field. And I think he's got some good vision in the second level. I mean, he's not
I
going to be a
did too.
guy, with that length and frame. He's not going to make a lot of guys miss, but he's got the ability to, navigate to the second level pretty good. So I feel like a solid B here.
Yeah, I gave him a B as well, and you just covered everything perfectly.
And you just keep copying my grades. Is that what you're gonna continue to do? Or I mean
Hey, man, we see eye to eye. I can't
I
do
mean,
anything about that.
all right. I mean, physicality
We
and
watch the same
strength.
film.
I know physicality and strength. I mean, he's got an A. I mean, I think he's physical at the catch point. I think he's tough. I mean, I think we saw 5 or 6 plays where it took 5 or 6 guys to get this guy to the ground. I mean, he doesn't give up at all. And I love that in a wide receiver. I love that toughness. I hate guys that
Yeah.
kind of go down easy. I mean, this guy fights for every yard and got some big hits and got right up. He's a tough player. So physicality and strength, I gave him an A. I guess you're going to give him an A as well.
Actually, this is where I have a concern. I'm gonna give him a C. I think he's a little soft. No, he's totally getting an A. This is pretty easy.
Yeah, he's a solid player, man. So all over, I mean, he's the wide receiver one of this class for most people. Still a lot of scouting to do, so he's going to be in the top 3 for most people. But yeah, for me, I still got Travis Hunter as my wide receiver one. I don't think anyone touches that guy's route running. So I got Tet McMillan, I think number 2 right now. But a lot of scouting left to do. But there is our rookie report for Tech McMillan. We're excited to see where he gets the landing spot in the first 10 selections of the NFL draft next year.